listening to the Bomb Hole.
Bomb Hole Podcast.
It's going to be very hot. It's going to be very uncomfortable for everybody.
The Bomb Hole.
I'm gonna slide down them big hills, you know what I mean, on the big, nice burgundy snowboard.
Okay, here we go again, another episode of The Bomb Hole, presented by Solomon Snowboards, Pub Beer, and Wild Mike's Ultimate Pizza. Stony Buds, how we doing?
I'm doing good, dog.
Love hearing that. Now this week, we have Mr. Jake Price to my left. How we doing, Jake?
Doing awesome. Thanks for having me, guys. This is insane to sit here.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you. For the listeners that may not be familiar with who you are, you started off as a snowboarder, then ultimately got into filmmaking in some of the most prolific snowboard videos ever made. Now, before we get into all that stuff, let's throw it back. You're a Bend OG, right?
I'm not actually.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm from Salem, Oregon.
Oh, wow.
Which is actually insane because Salem is in the middle of nowhere. We're 3 hours from a ski resort, and I should not be here right now. You know, I should be driving a truck on a farm. You know, somehow it just like turned into this snowboard lifestyle growing up in a town where there was nothing.
Well, let's get into it.
Yeah,
How is that somehow?
Somehow, oh my God. All right, it's been a long journey, dude. So this has been like probably over 20 years of just working my way up the ladder in the snowboard world. And it all started with pretty much my cousin was best friends with pro snowboarder Michelle Taggart, who was a Burton rider way back in the late 90s, early 90s probably. And it was kind of like talking to my cousin a little bit. I was just a little kid, you know, and they were like, yeah, like we're doing this thing called snowboarding. And so I like would see like a Warren Miller video or something and be like, whoa, that looks so sick. All right, cool. So there's one store in town at the time. And I went down there, saw a snowboard, bought rollerblades. Straight up, went blading, Salem shit. Like, you know, we're just shitheads. Like, me and my friends, we were just like pretty much could do whatever we want, but snowboarding was not on our radar. So eventually kind of did that thing, saw skateboard. It was like, all right, skateboarding, this is the shit. Started skateboarding every day. For probably a year or so, you know, it was always raining. It was just like a really rainy upbringing every single day. It was just shitty weather. So just did like pretty much what normal kids would do, minus we'd go off-roading and hang out on farms and go dirt, like four-wheeling and things like that. And then this store, Exit Real World, opened up. And that is like an Oregon staple, the sickest place on earth. As soon as I walked in that door, my mind was absolutely blown. It was just like Christmas Day, you know. Walked in there, saw like real snowboards for the first time hanging on the wall as like the whole Morrow catalog. And I just remember seeing this Morrow drive, and it was a 156, and I was 4'8". And I was looking up at that thing. It was the smallest board they had. And I was like, that's the dream. Went home that night. Literally everything changed. It was like, I'm selling my G.I. Joe collection. I'm selling all my toys. I want to save up to get a snowboard. And my parents were awesome because they were just like, no, you got to work for that. If you want to get that, you got to like make the money and do it proper. And it was like $400. I'm like, damn, like this is insane. There's no way I can get $400. Eventually, Michelle bought a Burton board from her. It was a 151 Air that she won the U.S. Open on. And she gave me a snowboard video with the board. And it was like FLF Films, like Hard the Hungry and the Homeless. Or no, it wasn't that one. It was like one of those videos that had like the like claymation, like really ghetto animations in it. I don't even remember what it was. But
that board was dope on the air.
Yeah, that was sick. It was like the one with like the kind of like anarchy sign on the tail, something like that with like really weird triangular things. But the board was a foot over my head. It was a 151. You know, I was a little tiny kid. So got that snowboard and just started going up every weekend. Like
Where'd you go?
We kind of started snowboarding at Hoodoo Resort in Oregon.
Never heard of it.
And it's a real tiny resort in the middle of Santiam Pass. And at the time, you know, I remember like riding up the lift and like just had all my hand-me-down gear, just like freezing my ass off, but like would go 9 to 4 every single day. Actually 9 to 10 p.m. because they had night skiing on weekends. So it was like, as soon as my parents would like get me up there, it was like, I am not going inside. I love this so much. And I just have like visions of like riding up the chair, and there was nobody snowboarded back then. So like I'd see a dude on like a checker pig, and I'm like, damn, that's fucking sick. And, but Exit didn't carry those. And snowboarding was growing so fast, but still nobody made kids gear. So I was wearing women's gear. I was like riding a board that was way too big for me. And that was like the first time I got a taste of like powder snowboarding. And I think for me, that's like kind of what we had in Oregon. It was like, snowboarding powder. Kind of like just kept doing that. And my parents were just so supportive. They don't come from a ski background or snowboard background. My dad's a car salesman. So he comes from a sales background, and he was just like, he just got it. He's like, well, this is what my kid loves. We'll do whatever we can to get him up there and let him live like this lifestyle. That's what he loves. I saw Snowboarder magazine, saw Trans World magazine, and just like instantly just like read everything I could get my hands on. Back then you couldn't even really buy snowboard videos. It was like, I remember seeing in a Snowboarder mag, it was an ad for Snowboarder TV. And it was like, you have to watch it at this time on cable television. And I was like, damn, I can get to see snowboarding on TV. This is going to be crazy. And then it would be like East Coast time, and I missed it. And I'm like, oh no, damn it. I'm going to have to wait another 6 months before I can see snowboarding again. It was just a really crazy time in snowboarding because it was growing so huge. Missy Sammy was the owner of Exit Real World, and she just saw the growth, and she was like such an amazing inspiration for me. For her to open up this new culture to our shitty little town in the middle of nowhere in Oregon.
Thank God for those small snowboard shops and stuff like that.
Absolutely, man. It's so sad, and that a lot of them aren't around anymore. RIP to Exit as well. Like, that was my life for many years, and I would go in there every single day after school and just be like, I was like super shy, real awkward, tiny little kid, but I just kind of got to know Missy, and I got to know the people that were working there, and they were all just instantly my idols. So it got to the point where I was skating every day and skating in my driveway, not knowing, wearing like Air Jordans. I just couldn't get gear that fit me. I was so small. And I guess, by being in there every day, putting a face to my name and everything else, like I had the opportunity to do a program through my school that was like, hey, if you go get a job somewhere, you can get credit for the time that you're working at this thing. So I hit the lottery as a little kid, went into Exit, and it was like, got a job there, wasn't getting paid, ended up working at the shop for 6 years. And it was just honestly the best time of my life because
they start paying you after a couple of
No,
years?
they never did.
They never did.
Towards the
6 years?
very end, once I got my
Good
driver
deal for them.
Yeah, that's a
it was the best deal ever. I was just the shop Grom. I'd wax boards, grip skate decks, bullshit. Or it really like brought me out of my shell. Like I was such a quiet kid and awkward, and like I didn't really have that many friends. Like no one skated in my town, no one snowboarded. So it really was kind of like the moment where like I was hanging out with all these older people all the time, and then like Rob Morrow would come into the shop and Trevor Graves would come into the shop because Morrow was in Salem at the time. So
really? They're in Salem?
They were in Salem. Bonfire was in Salem. So Sean Peterson would come in, and I was just this little kid just like, whoa, dude, this is crazy. And then, like in the summer, like skate tours would come by, and Jamie Thomas would come by, and Andrew Reynolds. And I was just tripping out, like just ultimate, like just like little kid, like, oh my God, dude, this is absolutely insane. And now I'm sitting in the same chair that Jamie Thomas was sitting in. This is nuts.
Give him some air horns. Dude, we get asked all the time. I bring it up, and it's a corny question to some, but like they're always asking, hey, do you have any advice for getting sponsored? And that always goes over my head, but I think everybody probably that sat in that chair was a shop Grom or shop kid that just hung around at the shop and became a familiar face of the shop. I think that plays a key role in kind of engulfing yourself in the culture.
Dude, that honestly jump-started my whole life.
Now shops are kind of gone, though, so what do they do?
There's still
It's
I feel
Instagram.
like there's flagships.
Yeah, there's still
It's
yeah,
like
right.
being
There's
on the
still-
gram and like doing it on their own program.
True.
They're running their own media team.
True.
But
Yeah,
also
now
that's
you
just
can run
kind
your
of
own
like,
media.
man, you got to like put a face to the name. And, I was the shop Grom, and we had our big sale of the year in the exit party, which was like the big video premiere that they would do. And this specific year was Meltdown Project. And that's like where I was like sitting in a movie theater and just like, damn, like the Dead Kennedy song comes on. And it was literally just like, that blew my mind. But that day I met Randy Torkham, who was at the time was the rep, Northwest rep for 5150 snowboards. And he literally just like saw this little kid in the shop. He's brilliant because he's like, well, if I hook this kid up, I've never even seen him fucking snowboard. If he's like back in 5150, he's going to like sell these boards. So he just handed me a board. And it was just like, are you kidding me? No way, man. I'm sponsored. This is insane. Like, got a board. Like, the dream just hit. And he had never even seen me snowboard. And that was like a real change in like that time for my life. And that's where I was like really started to take it seriously. Was then like, you know, Bonfire started giving me outerwear. And that was just like, I was so thankful. And just it was all really a sales technique for them because they just want to sell the product. And if the kid working in the shop is wearing the stuff, that's what I was selling.
Hey, but you had that label. You were sponsored.
Yeah.
Totally,
That's
dude.
all you want.
Yeah. You got free
all that
gear
mattered.
from the brand.
Definitely.
Well,
free board. And like, dude, at the time, it was just like so out of my price range, you know, like didn't really come from money or anything. So it was like, yo, this is cool. I get to like have this and, you know. So yeah, there I was riding for 5150. Randy ended up moving over to Rev Snowboards and Revelation Snowboards out of Canada, and they were the first ones to have the slider system. And I got like this 3 series snowboard, and it was finally a board that fit me. And that was just a game changer for me. It's the first time like JP Walker became my idol. Tim Osler became my ultimate idol. Those guys all did a trip to like Mount Hood Meadows Vegetate. And honestly, like I got to meet my freaking idols for the first time. It was the first time I ever saw pro snowboarders. And it was like those guys. And at the time, they weren't even like, they were still nobody, you know. But to me, they were everybody. JF Pelchat is there. And I'm just like, whoa, dude, this is insane. And I'm just this little kid. I don't even know what that even feels like to be like these days. That never happens. You never have the Groms on our shoots or anything like that. So, man, just like living the dream, snowboarding as much as I possibly could. Going to work every single day at Exit and just being in it 100%. And through that time, there's still summer. And summer was turned into, by working at Exit, I met Trevor Graves. And Trevor was just the most incredible photographer. He's my ultimate idol, you know. And he asked me to be his photo assistant. And I was like super interested in photography and just based on looking at the snowboard magazines. And so I went to go work for Trevor at Morrow Snowboards.
You were Trevor's photo assistant?
For like, yeah, not that long, but I probably lasted like a week because he's probably just like, wow, this kid sucks. But
how old were you?
I was 14.
14, okay.
Yeah, 14, 15 probably.
Wow.
Something like that. And to be in the Morrow building and seeing like their production at the time, they were the number 2 snowboard brand in the world. It was all like being in the right place at the right time and just rolling with it. And not being afraid to go try these new things and be a part of that. And, you know, by hanging out with that crew, the Rev thing kind of fizzled. So I think like by hanging out at Morrow, it was just a natural for me to be on the Salem, Oregon company team and riding for Morrow Snowboards. And Chris Owen was the team manager at that time. And he just saw the opportunity. He just saw that I love snowboarding. And it was just like, yo, man, like, this is our kid. So went on like the first Morrow tour with those guys. And the funny thing is that I drove so I was 15 years old and I drove a Suburban. So my dad wouldn't lease me a Suburban because he really believes in safe vehicles. And he knew I was going to be driving in the mountain as much as I possibly could. And Chris at the time was like, well, here's the deal. How about Jake's 15? He has his learner's permit. I'll sit shotgun and Jake will drive the whole Morrow team on the tour down through Lake Tahoe and, you know, some parts of Oregon and San Francisco. And that was like, just blew my fucking mind.
Your dad was down with that?
Oh yeah, he was way down. He's like, all right, well, this is Chris, you know, like they kind of got to be friends.
Let's give Chris Owens
shop.
a horn.
Chris Owen, man.
Owen.
And, that was the trip where I met like Billy Anderson, and Jeff Anderson was there at the time, and Andrew Crawford, Josh Dirksen, Tyler Lepore.
Holy shit.
Like all.
For a 15-year-old kid, that's psycho.
Oh
Yeah,
my
that's
God.
crazy.
It was crazy. But I was like so involved with the Exit Real World deal that like those people already kind of like knew I was a shop Grom from Oregon, even though back then there's no chance of me ever having a video part or a photo in anything.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, I'm like hitting like an ASI quarter pipe with Todd Richards. And I'm just like, whoa, dude. And I've kind of like held my own. I kind of did what I did and got like some shots in the Morrow catalog and stuff like that. And like the Grom team with Tyler Lepore was like my equal aged guy. And I mean, Tyler was way, way better than me. But at the time, it was just like, dude, I'm just happy to be here. This is crazy. And that's honestly, that's a kind of a segue into how I got the nickname Mini Bike.
That's actually a Patreon question from George Kluckner.
Oh, fuck yeah. George, man.
How did you get the name Mini Bike? He heard that you were hitting some big jump and the wind caught you. And
like a motorcycle, like made me do a whip.
I mean,
it's kind of like that. Billy Anderson was like really into dirt bikes at the time. Like those guys were doing the Morrow motocross in Albany, Oregon. And I was just so small, man. Okay, picture this. I'm 15, driving the Morrow team. I'm 5 feet tall and I weighed 80 pounds.
Damn.
Yo, I'm tiny. I was like the latest bloomer of all time. And Billy just looks over and is like, yo, you're like a miniature version of a motorcycle. You're like a mini bike. And then just like that whole trip, like Dirksen and Crawford and all those guys just jumped on it. And they're like, yeah, mini bike. What up? Like hit the jump, mini bike.
And it just stuck.
It just stuck, and it kind of like been rolling with that ever since,
That's awesome.
So
I never knew that.
yeah.
It's a great nickname.
Yeah.
And then, with those Morrow years, dude, it was just like, it was so sick because it was just like, fuck, man. Met Andrew Crawford and Dirksen and all these guys that lived in Bend. And to me, it was like, oh, that's the biggest mountain and resort, or the biggest resort in Oregon. And so I just started going there every weekend. And we ended up getting a condo there. And it was kind of the fall. I don't remember what year it was, but Crawford got cut from Morrow. And pretty much it was a major hit because it was like he was the guy that I looked up to the most and like was riding batch. He was like at the time like was so open to having this little kid ride with him all day, and we just became super good friends. And he had the summertime he got cut from Morrow, and then I was still like kind of trying to come up, but I didn't really have like a way to do it in a way. And my dad like kind of met Crawford at some contests he had won at Bachelor and things like that, some small things, and he. My dad kind of just made a deal with him, was like, hey man, I know you just got cut from Morrow. My kid is on the come up. Like, what if he moved into this condo and you took care of him and he would drive you around? Because Crawford was honestly riding a mountain bike around town. Like he'd like ride the bus up to the ski resort at the time.
Jeez.
So like pretty much had that conversation. Crawford, it was all through Chris Owen and Crawford. Give that dude an air horn. Chris Owen's done so much for me.
Let's give him the super air horn. Have you heard this one?
No, I haven't. Oh, Owen, that's for you, buddy.
Love that air horn.
Yes.
That one doesn't come out very often.
That's kind of like the Diplo air horn.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Chris Owen kind of organized this whole thing where I'm driving Andrew Crawford to the mountain every day, blasting Metallica in my Suburban. And our only mission was to snowboard every single day. And right then, Crawford got the cover of Snowboarder. And it was like this massive, he jumped the rock garden at Bachelor, which is, there's like no one's done that since pretty much.
Really?
Yeah, it was on the summer issue. It was a massive.
Chris Owen shoot it?
No, Quinn Shields shot it.
Oh, wow.
At the time, Quinn Shields and Embry Rucker were two dudes that were, they were staff from Morrow. So it was kind of like Dirksen, Crawford, and I were like the Morrow riders in Bend. And so.
Whatever happened to Morrow? Are they like still sold at big box stores?
Dude, I think K2 bought it and just kind of like dissolved it or something or whatever. I haven't seen one in years.
Dissolved the competition?
Those foam cores kind of dissolved.
Well, their cores dissolved.
I'm tripping out too because I was a Morrow fan. Like that was my
Morrow was a
brand.
big deal.
I had Richards posters on my wall. Richards was one of my favorites. My first snowboard was a Morrow Model T. I was like Morrow guy. So I was probably
There's one over there on the wall,
similar
right?
age to you. Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I picture myself being 15 years old, driving all my idols around in a van, that's just paints a crazy picture for me. And the fact that your dad lined that up, dude.
The salesman,
wild.
Car salesman, just wheeling and dealing.
I mean, he always was. It's still to this day, wheeler and dealer. It's actually
smart guy though.
Oh my God, man! I mean, buy some for $1, sell it for $2.
Yeah,
it's always been his motto, and it's actually crazy because by working at the snowboard shop, and I've sort of taken my whole life direction is based on sales. So are snowboard videos. You got to show the people what you're going to sell them, show them why they bought it.
A lot of people don't know that.
And then make the clothes, give them the enders. Exactly. It's all a big sale, man. And like, I want people to love my product just like a car salesman would sell a car, have fun with it.
Yeah.
Smart logic. I've never heard that with filmmaking. That's a great.
It's all a sell. Everything you do, man.
Yeah.
Well, to get the brands involved and
exactly.
To get the money to fund it.
There's a lot of business and a lot of psychology behind a lot of the videos.
Yeah.
You might not even think about it, but that's all I think about.
Makes sense.
It's like,
okay, so that's a pretty wild situation. You're driving Crawford around, listening to Metallica, riding Bachelor, probably getting down. Now, I've heard some rumors about some childhood acting / modeling / cheddar biscuits.
All the above. It was all time. So yeah, with having that opportunity with the Morrow team, Chris Owen got a call from Chapstick and was like, "Yo, we're looking for some snowboarders to go in, audition for the new commercial of Peekaboo Street." So I was like, "Yeah, totally, 100%, let's do it." And I have 2 sisters and a brother, so all 4 of the kids. My mom drove us up in the Suburban, and we went up there and we all auditioned for this commercial. Legendary director Greg Stump was directing it. At the time, I didn't know who the hell he was, but now I'm like, oh, fuck, dude, he's gnarly. But pretty much I was doing 360s over Peekaboo Street's head while I was like, she's putting chapstick on her lips. Both my little sisters are standing next to her. Like, we're just all these little Groms in this like chapstick commercial. It's on YouTube. It's called Chapstick Flava Crave. Chapstick Flava Crave.
Flava Crave.
Flava Crave.
Wow.
It was a way ahead of its time.
We'll definitely be syncing that up.
But dude, we worked one day and I got a fucking check for $60,000. Both my sisters did too.
For one day?
One day.
That
was SAG rates back there, dude. It was like the most insane biscuit scenario ever as a little fucking kid.
Each of you?
Each of us.
And
That's
how
like
many?
A year's salary.
3 of us.
3 of you?
One day.
One day.
Holy biscuits.
Dude, how do we get the biscuit jobs like that? Dude?
Yo,
They
man,
don't
go
exist,
get it.
huh?
That's like a word of advice I could say to any snowboarder or whatever. Get a freaking like a commercial agent. If you live in LA, man,
Oh, true,
don't be
huh?
afraid to like get these opportunities. Like, go audition for stuff. Why not? You have nothing to lose.
You didn't have an agent though, right?
At the time, Chris Owen was
Oh.
kind of like the guy who facilitated the whole thing, and then from
Chris,
there,
Chris take some cheddar off the top, or what?
I don't know.
He's just had your back.
Yeah,
huh?
he just had my back. He was just like always had my back, and he was hard on me. He was like scary, dude. Like, it was scary working with Chris at the time. He was like the man. You know?
So your family must have been pretty stoked.
Oh, that would just
3
reset.
checks,
That just changed our lives.
60 times
it,
tray.
It honestly changed our lives forever. And what we did, my dad's just like such a great dude with money. He
180K coming in.
Yeah, we just talked to Crawford, and because Crawford really became part of my family at the time. And he's like, Craw, what do you want to do? And Craw's like, I got to move to Mammoth. That's like where the shit is going down. So my dad was like, all right, let's invest in a condo in Mammoth. So we took all that money, went down to Mammoth Lakes, and it was like the height of Grenade, you know?
Oh, legendary time.
Good
legendary
time
time
to
to be
invest
down
in
there.
Mammoth, if
Great
I'm
time to
correct,
invest. The town kind of like wasn't doing so great, but we just like got a place right by the lift. And
right by the lift.
yeah, it was insane. I forgot the name of the condos. But honestly, man, I got down there.
Talking down up by the gondola or down in that lower village?
Canyon. Yeah, right by Canyon Lodge, we got this condo, and like Matt Cass is my neighbor, and I met day one. I go shredding, and it's fucking Eddie Wall and Kevin Jones and Tara Dequitas.
Wow.
And then we're all sessioning this picnic bench, and it was just like, what is going on here? This is insane. Kevin Jones just absolutely blew my mind. I had never seen anyone snowboard like that. He was just so on point, so good. And I was like super starstruck, honestly. And that was like, even though I was like already friends with Dirksen and Jason McAllister and Marcus Eggy and like the Bend legends, you know. that was just like a crazy moment for me. But I honestly, I just like didn't last that long down there. I just had a hard time riding Mammoth Resort. I'd never really ridden park before, and Crawford was there to like practice tricks on park jumps and stuff like that. And it just wasn't me. I was like used to riding POW. Like that's all I wanted to ride, and I wasn't good enough. Like I just like something in me. I can't spin. Like I could not figure that out. I can just like go big on hips and things like that, you know, because that's looking back now, that's what Bachelor is wind lip, natural takeoffs, backside airs. It's like, that's what I want to do. So I instantly moved back to Bend, met the Ciszek family the first week, and they're like, oh, we just moved from Mammoth to Bend. And I'm like, oh shit, well, yeah, same. Like, I'm back here. And then I lived in this Ciszek. I mean, literally, they're the coolest family
Let's give
ever.
him an air horn.
So yeah, Curtis Ciszek was, you know, he was like 8 at the time. And the first day I met him, he was drinking a beer and high on mushrooms. And I'm like, what? This is crazy. And
At 8 years old?
Yeah, 8 years old.
That's
His 11-year-old sister
Wow.
is driving a truck around town. It was just like, what is up with this family? This is absolutely insane. These guys are they're just allowed to do whatever they want. I love this. So I guess within that, they were like, hey, we have a closet you can live in. So I'm like, yeah, I'd rather live there than my brand new condo down in Mammoth. I want to live in the closet and ride Bachelor. That's what I want to do.
Wow.
This is right in the time where I hit my growth spurt, where it was like in 1 year, I go from like, you know, 5 foot tall, 80 pounds to 6 foot tall, still skinny as fuck.
In 1 year.
In 1 year. And then it was like instantly dropped all my sponsors. Just nobody wanted, they didn't know who I was.
Oh, really?
Because they're like,
Because you're just
he's
talking?
not the little kid anymore. Like, we don't want him anymore. He's like
We
a
want the
normal ass
Grom.
dude. And then living in Bend at the time, Morrow was already kind of like fizzling out. It just wasn't happening. So for me, it was like, it's time to do something else. And it was like, honestly, based on doing the Chapstick commercial, I was like, yo, I want to move to LA and try modeling and acting. Because honestly, I'm pretty lazy when it comes down to like a real job. I worked in the snowboard shop for so many years. Love that. But it was like, I want to do something that's easy money. And did a couple acting gigs in LA. Was like the cover of Paul Frank catalog and these things. But I was so awkward. I had no idea what the hell I was doing.
Well, that's just perfect because we have the breakout moment presented by our friends over at 10 Barrel and Pub Beer. Now, Pub Beer supports us. You guys should support them. Their tagline is cheap, fun beer. Now, Jake, before snowboard filming became a serious career, back when it was cheap and fun, did you have a memorable breakout moment?
Absolutely. And this was just the most insane phone call I ever got. And it was from Jess Gibson from Robot Food fame. I had met him through hanging out with Crawford because Crawford was living at the Robot Food house, even though he was filming for Standard and Kingpin at the time. And Jess was like, hey man, like we are looking for a filmer for next year. And I had the only experience I had with filmmaking was I was making skate videos for Exit. You know, I was filming like Tyler Bledsoe and Seabo Walker back in the day when they were just little kids. And that's where I like really found an interest in video editing. And just so happens the husband of Missy, who owned the shop, was a filmmaker as well. This guy, Jake Houseworth. And he just totally changed my life in a way where it was like, we just started buying every skate video, every snowboard video. And then, you know, Robot Food had Afterbang and Lame. Those had come out with essentially my friends were in those videos. And it was kind of a moment where I'm like, I thought I was done. I like didn't think I was going to be snowboarding anymore. It was kind of over for me. But then Jess was like, hey man, you know how to snowmobile. You have backcountry experience. You have snowboard experience. You love videos. We're hiring you for Robot Food, and we're going to pay you $1,500 a month, unlimited travel budget. And you're going on your first trip with Josh Dirksen, Chris Ingelsman, Hampus Mosesen, Jakob Wilhelmsen, and Pierre Wickberg. And Pierre's going to show you how to use an Airflex 16mm camera.
That's for the laymen that are unfamiliar with this. He's describing basically the most legendary film crew in the history of snowboard filmmaking right out of the gate. But go ahead.
Absolutely. And the idea, we were making the follow-up to Lame. And, you know, I was already such a big fan. Like, those movies blew my mind. I was like, wow, this is how a snowboard video should be made. This is just crazy. And Jess and Pierre just had such a good vision of what a snowboard video should be. And those videos were huge. You know, it was like redefined a whole different style of making snowboard videos. And those are like the skate videos I was into were like Ty Evans, like the Feedback and Reason, and videos that had more than just tricks and punk rock music. You know, After Bang opens up with like the Cars, right? And that was like, holy shit, you can use a classic rock song in a snowboard video? That's crazy. No one's ever done that before. Or there's like, you know, a hip hop song or whatever else. That was like super new and unique, and that's why those videos really stood out. For me, it was like, all right, man, we're filming snowboarding. And the first 2 months was just shadowing Pierre Wickberg, who at the time was just like my idol, man, in the snowboard film world. And he's just such a great dude, very funny, Swedish, knew everything about everything. And we're just ripping through film.
Yeah. So explain the process of shooting on it's a Bolex, correct?
No,
Is it
some people
Aeroflex?
do shoot with Bolexes,
Yeah.
but it's an Aeroflex. Airy S was
Yeah.
the first camera I had. And it's just a bomber 16 millimeter camera built by the Germans
So yeah,
for
explain-
World War II. It's,
So that's why it doesn't shit the bed in the snow. And whatnot.
exactly. It's a
But-
bomber camera.
you guys
It's
gotta go-
metal. It's heavy. But you know, we have to change the film like out in the elements, and there's real film going through it. And each roll of film is, you know, $100 just for the roll.
How many minutes of footage?
3 minutes.
So
3
hun-
minutes of footage.
Yeah, $100 for 3 minutes for 16.
Exactly. But the thing is, you're not shooting as much as you would with Digi. But honestly, at the time, Digi was still filming on like a GL2 or HVX or VX1000. The VX2000 had just come out. But you know, for me, like that kind of like opened it up to the door to being like, yo, I want to film everything. So I'd be shooting all this Digi stuff. Where Jess and Pierre they were used to filming snowboard videos where they're just shooting 16 only. So we were kind of always messing around with little Digi cams, and you know, all the writers involved with Robot Food were also involved in the filmmaking process too. So they were all interested in little like stick cams and things like that.
One thing I wanted to pick your brain on is when I look at all the stuff that you've made, all the iconic videos, you seem to capture the showmanship well. And while we're on the subject of this, like, what's your opinion on like tricks versus showmanship?
You know, there's two different types of showmanship, I believe. And the first type is your on-camera abilities to have a personality. And it is so hard to find snowboarders that have a personality. And when I first met Crawford, he was like just so advanced in the way that he would like the way he would show himself on camera. Then Travis Parker. You know, Travis is a genius. He's basically Jim Carrey of snowboarding.
Yeah.
And he's the funniest dude. And whenever you pull a camera out, he would always say something that would just make me laugh so hard. Or just like, he has just a different vision of the world, you know? Like the most talented human. And his showmanship just like, it just shows like there's a reason why he was so big at the time, because everyone loved his style. It was wild, just wild style, like, you know?
It's also the combination of I always, this is the way I've processed it too. If you watch those old Robot Food movies and you watch Parker, he's relatable. He's being a goof. He's backflipping into a tree, right? And then all of a sudden he's doing a backside rodeo 9 Indy, which is like, you know, put your dick on the table. This is a fucking heavy move. So it's like he's relatable, fun, he's funny, but then he also still brings the A-grade heat.
Oh,
too.
absolutely. It was insane, man. Working with Travis, he's just such a good snowboarder. And the reason why is he snowboards all the time. Like he was out there every day, all the time for many years before he even got in the limelight. But then his personality really shined. And those are the things where I still, to this day, 20 years after that video, I still hear kids that are out in the mountain like recycling the lines from those movies.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Afterlame was really special because it was the first time anybody had done really like a documentary vibe in a snowboard film. And I think Pierre, myself, and Jess were all like really influenced by some of Spike Jonze' skate videos, like the girl videos he was doing. And there was like the hot chocolate tour, and those videos were like kind of like, yo. And honestly, it was kind of a fluke because Robot Food was sort of dissolving at the time. And there's, butting heads between different people in the crews. And we just we didn't get the shots that we needed. That nobody had video parts, so we're like, well, shoot, dude, what are we gonna do? And we're like, well, let's interview people and see what happens. And we'll make a documentary about it. And like, it was always kind of like, it needs to have like 50% documentary, 50% action, you know, good music, everything else, all the ingredients to make a classic snowboard video. And I think, you know, for me, that's just like the staple for getting hyped. And I hear it from a lot of people, you know. And for me, dude, it was just like my first project, being a DP filmmaker, you know, just a filmer. And I learned so much from those guys. Like, this is how it's really done. This is how it's done pro. And then, you know, that's when I'd sit over their shoulder in the editing bay and learned how to edit.
Incredible. The bonus of that video when you guys are all driving around in the vans, and there's so much. We could not get that DVD out of the DVD player. The amount of
exactly, and it was
gold
probably
there is in there.
It was kind of like the first time too that you can learn more about the people behind their snowboard tricks. Like, there's some personality there, and personality showmanship is a huge part of snowboarding. And if it wasn't there, there'd be no culture.
Well, absolutely. Going back to, you know, what you're talking about, you know, as a fan of those guys, I would latch onto those personalities. I would latch fully and be like, Travis, Scotty Arnold, you know, I was such a big Scotty, still am fan. And, you know, going back to that, in the contrary, there's some filmers that they only take out their camera and they film the trick and they put the shit back in their bag. Mm-hmm. And you go home and you got 8 clips or whatever it is, and that's it. And it's like, that doesn't, your tricks are great, but you know, you guys kind of being the pioneers of taking the VX out and filming, you know, Parker being an idiot in the van is gold. Oh, absolute gold.
And, you know, that really set up what my next movie was going to be. And that was December. And Travis and Andrew, you know, it was like kind of the beginning of the winter. We're trying to figure out plans. Robot Foods dissolved. Like, Parker doesn't have a project to work on or anything. Crawford was like not really sure. He was coming off of injuries, doing all sorts of other stuff. And they were at my house for Thanksgiving in Bend. We were just like, we just wanted to go snowboard. Or I was just at home. I was just like doing me. I'm like, look, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no idea. Like, didn't know I was like even a filmer, really. I was like, yeah, I did this movie. That's crazy. And Travis and Andrew were like, Andrew was just like, dude, we got to go to Europe. I'm like, for like Christmas? He's like, yeah, dude, let's go to Europe. And he's like, and Travis was like, yeah, like I just started Air Blaster. Like, let's make the first Air Blaster movie, and Jake, you're gonna film it. And I was like, yeah, right. Like, I've never been to Europe. What do you guys mean? Like, that's insane. And basically, I didn't even own a camera at the time. Like,
how
a
old are you at
Digicam.
this point? Just to be
probably 20.
Okay.
Yeah,
Happy.
yeah. You're 21, probably okay. 21, 22.
Yep.
And you know, it was kind of like, for me, I was just like, I had just saw Tent City, the anti-hero skate video, and was just like, damn, this movie's so cool. And I just watched it over and over and over. And I was like, man, why doesn't snowboarding have something like this loose? And like, just the guys hanging, and like, I'll just mix 16 and mix digi, and we'll get some wireless microphones, and I'll just pretty much anything that Travis says is gold. So I'd literally just open hit the record button. Everything that would come out of his mouth was just like, damn, this is going in the movie. This is insane. But there was no plan. I mean, we basically booked flights like November 29th and got on a flight to Rome the very next day with like my 2 fucking brothers at the time, you know? It was an absolutely insane moment. And the whole thing was like, we're snowboarding every day no matter what. And we get over there and there's no snow. It was like an inch. But we were just like, had to get really creative with it. And we were in Europe. We did, you know, 6 or 7 different countries. Just my mind was blown, you know, first time over there. And we were with Espen Lystad.
You're hanging with Espen?
Espen, yeah. And like, none of us knew him.
Yeah,
and
he's a wild
it was
character.
he was such a character, and him and Crawford just like totally butted heads. And it's all in the movie, you know. I didn't really
is
leave
he the guy
anything
that's
out.
mad about the
He's-
pistachios?
Pistachios, like we're throwing the pistachios on the dash. The van is just destroyed.
Filled with trash.
There's just trash shit everywhere. Crawford's just a wild human, man. Like, he is just like all or nothing. And then you throw Travis, and those guys grew up together, Travis and Crawford. So like, they were just like on fire. And then like, you know, I love those moments. I love traveling. That's like the biggest part about my job. That it is just the biggest perk. And just getting into situations where you're just like, why? How did we get here? And one of those moments was like discovering Marco Grilk
Oh yeah.
Like who Espen had known, he had met him somewhere, but we didn't know this dude. He's like, yeah, we're gonna go meet this Slovakian guy, and we're like, all right, man. Does he have like any hot girlfriends that can hang out with us? Yeah, he's from Ljubljana.
Ljubljana.
Yeah,
tough one to.
And at the time, no one knew who he was, but we put him in that movie, and we just did one night session with him, and he did like all 4 9s. No one had done that in a video, really. I mean, Benedict maybe.
And then Crawford, sorry to interrupt, but there's a bet when he gets done, Crawford and Travis, they walks over. He's my new favorite pro snowboarder. Or something.
Yeah.
Favorite snowboarder.
Exactly.
And they're like, it's just
and then
so cool.
There's like a subtle moment right there. Crawford just like blows all these plastic cups off a table, and then like they like sit down. You know, it's so funny. Like that just like it sums up Crawford in a nutshell. He's just like does not give a fuck about anything around him. Just like boom.
Yep.
Trash everywhere.
Yes, I didn't notice that.
Yeah, that's like one of my favorite moments of that movie.
Yeah, Marco just beat down.
Yeah, exactly. And then editing that movie, like I was just like kind of didn't think anything of it, and just like I put out, but I just wanted to be a bonus feature, like a little look of a bonus feature, because that's what I really love in snowboarding. I love the personality, I love the background stuff, the behind the scenes, and it just kind of became something bigger than I could have ever imagined. Like, I don't know how many copies we sold or anything like that. I kind of I did it for free. They paid for the travel and all that stuff, which
that's kind of a trip of a lifetime too.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was
age.
Totally. And to put out that movie that has become like something that when most people ask me about snowboard videos, that's always the one that everyone like wants to know about.
Yeah.
It's a cult classic. Also, the timing was, we just couldn't get enough as a consumer and a fan. I couldn't get enough Travis Parker.
Yeah, 100%.
I just couldn't get enough.
No one could.
Like it was like an insatiable. Like I want more of this guy's fascination after Robot Food came out. So
true.
Yeah, Travis is just the best, dude. I love that guy so much.
Traveling with Espen, he's pretty high strung, right?
He was like really chill actually.
Oh,
but I think it was just like Crawford being a psychopath.
First time I met Espen, I was rooming with him, and I blacked out and puked in his only pair of shoes. My bad.
I like it. I think
Sorry,
he's probably, to me, he reminded me of like Will Ferrell or someone, but like a quiet version. And then it always rains on his parade.
Yeah.
I think it's the Norwegian in him or something.
Dude, when Oli and I roomed with him the next time, and he always was the dude who claimed the sickest room. So we snuck into his room and switched the box spring with the mattress.
No fucking
And he
way.
slept on it all the Super Park. And he kept waking
Just
up
had
in
no
the morning
idea.
and being like, this bed is like a prison. and we told everyone in Super Park kind of knew, and everyone kept coming up to him like, how are you sleeping, dude? How are you sleeping?
my
And then on the
God.
last night he found out what we did.
I mean, him and Crawford had like serious meltdowns and things
Yeah.
during that trip. And like
He's
there was a
easy to get
moment where
going.
he's just like, I gotta go. But then he'd come back down to the hotel lobby and be like, if I
good.
leave, I'm gonna miss you guys. And then when we all left, he was crying.
Yeah, imagine trying to shoot with
absolutely
those riders.
so crazy, man. And I mean, trying to shoot with those riders with no snow.
and they weren't doing anything. You guys
true.
weren't doing
Yeah.
a whole lot of like big spectacular.
No,
moves.
like the whole point was kind of to make a snowboard video not about snowboarding, and we really, I mean, they would snowboard at 1 inch on rocks and like
Everywhere
maybe
all over
try to hit
Europe was
anything.
shitty snow, huh?
Yeah, it was bad.
Well, while we're on the subject of all this video talk, I think it's time
here we
for
go.
You know what?
Snap.
So good.
Now, Name That Video Part is presented by the Do Tour. Be sure to check out their skate event coming this summer. Now, how confident are you feeling about the Name
10
That
out of
Video
10.
Part? That
Wow.
I'm a student in the game, Bo.
I've never seen that
that's the
confidence
highest.
here.
That's the highest recorded confidence level.
Yep.
Okay,
We got
Wow.
it. Fire it up.
Let's see how
go.
he does. Here
Let's go, he says.
Tommy Jesme, Video Gracias.
That is incorrect, but that is a great answer. Do you actually know? Do you want to hear where that?
Yeah, I was waiting for that moment. Hit me.
So for the
no,
peop-
I think I know what it is.
I feel like I might
For
even
the
know this
people
one.
that there's a guy that comments on every single Instagram post that says Tommy Gesme Video Gracias. So that was what that reference was. Let's hear it again.
I got it. I don't know if I have the movie though.
Doesn't matter.
But it's definitely Giggy.
That's correct.
And it's is it Pop? Or no, Future Proof?
Yeah,
Yeah.
future-proof.
Yeah.
That was
There we
pretty impressive.
For the viewers, we'll drop in the clip. It's actually where Gigi
Yeah, he hits the tree.
No, it's when he's riding Alaska and he overshoots.
That's right.
He shoots to the bottom of the.
You know what's so insane?
The whole hillside.
Oh yeah,
is
that's
dude.
huge.
Like I visualized that when I was listening to the song. This is my prize pack.
Yeah, he gets the prize.
Oh
He's got
my
the cooler
God, dude,
filled
with the
bomb
VX
hole
on there.
merch.
How
It's
sick is that?
yeah, cooler wrapped in all over.
What do you guys
bomb
put in
hole
yours?
print. What we got in there is a bomb hole crew neck, bomb hole sweats, a hat. We got a mug. We got bomb hole stickers. All available at bombhole.com. Yeah, so go back to what you were saying about the visualizing, like you could see it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a visual memory. I think that's why I'm probably a filmmaker and a video editor, where I see the clips and I see I can envision things to music.
Part 2 of Name That Video part for the listener viewers.
I'll tell you guys if I know this one too, but I'm not going to say it because it's for the
Hey,
viewers.
Say it, but we'll beep it out.
yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Okay, you better know this one.
I mean, it's and it's I believe.
It's not, but that is correct.
Oh, it's
yeah.
yeah,
in there
yeah,
too.
I filmed that.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
why I
but
said you
but
better
I
know
didn't
it.
edit that one. That's like the thing. I didn't edit that.
Oh,
one,
and when you
so-
edit it, that's when you hear it a million times.
Exactly.
So it really sinks in.
Yeah, those are like the videos where I'm like, fuck. Like I'll see it, and I'm like, when Pierre did it, or when somebody else edits my footage, it's always like, I think I would have done it differently.
Yeah, you shoot it with something in mind, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, kind of, not really.
All right, I'm going to segue us out of a little section we call. Now, I want to go back to what we were talking about earlier, and let's get into the importance of music in snowboard videos.
It's 99% of a video to me. It's all in the music. Because why would you want to watch a movie that has shitty music? You know, you're not going to like, I don't know. To me, it's like front to back. It needs to be a playlist that you would want to listen to all the time. And also, I think it needs to be a bunch of different types, like genres of music. And I love all genres of music. Like I'll listen to country, I'll listen to metal, I'll listen to techno, hip hop, whatever. But it needs to reflect the writer's kind of vision. You know, ultimately, when I'm making a film, it's like the writer has first choice. Like, what do they want? Most guys I work with don't give a fuck. They're just like, oh, we trust you. Do whatever you want. And it makes or breaks the video for me. I can't watch videos with bad music. And I think there's filmmakers in our world that probably just envision their videos playing on a bar with no music playing. So they're just like, ah, fuck it. We're just going to run it like this. For me, it starts with the music. Even the editing, you know, it's like I find the song first, and then it's like edit to that.
I think on the subject of good video part should give you a feeling. Now, in order to create a feeling, the audio is very important.
Huge, big time.
Back to the music. But yeah.
Absolutely. It's all in the feeling. And it has to give you the chills. Like the first time you see it, when I show it to a writer, if it doesn't give you the chills, it's not right.
And the wrong music is not going to give you the chills.
No. And it probably is also the fact that I'm going to be listening to this song thousands of times.
If you
I
like
just
it and you like the writer.
Exactly. And, you know, for me, I've been so lucky to work with these brands that we have budgets that maybe we can create our own soundtrack and kind of like, you know, do something different. And where I kind of know what I want most of the time, like for the videos, I'll kind of be like, all right, this is the moment, this is the length this needs to be. Why pay this like person that we don't even know to do a song? Let's just make it ourselves, or we have friends that are in the music world. So
while we're on the subject of talking about making your own soundtrack, one of the videos, probably from an outsider, the video you're most known for is your project with Volcom and Gigi Ruff called 9191. Now let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean,
soundtrack.
that was just such a special time in my career, and for Billy Anderson at Volcom to be producing a movie about Gigi. Gigi just got put on Volcom, like head to toe boards, everything. And I just like, I've actually met Gigi a long time ago. We basically have the same birthday. We were born the same year. We get along super well. And Billy was kind of like, all right, dude, it's you and Gigi. And you guys are going to make a movie in the next couple of years. I was like, oh, what? This is insane. Really? Like for Volcom, this is nuts. It was like, you know, you always say like childhood kid or 12-year-old me shitting myself.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It was kind of like that, where I was like, wow, man, that's insane. all right, cool, let's just do it. And pretty much we just, Giggy and I, we just rolled around together, hung out every day for a year, and just like, man, he's just the best dude ever. Like, we just got along so well. He likes to party. I like to party. He likes to snowboard. I like to snowboard. He just had like a good vision. I'd go hang out with him and his wife in Austria. You know, we'd go to Locks and hang out with Nicholas Mueller and just like be around like such amazing people. And but then I got to hang out with Curtis because he's riding for Volcom, and Zach Marbin and Mark Landvik and all these other guys that were just like such a killer squad. And I think 9191 though was like sort of like kind of rough in the beginning because we didn't have that much footage, and at the time no one had really had a video that was like based on one guy, and it was like, damn, we have to fill 25 minutes like with hammers, like how are we gonna do this? And then, you know, I think I just kind of like, we were just like, well, let's just take it a day at a time. And then we got a call from Justin Hostenik and was like, hey, you guys should come to AK and like kind of we'll work together for this Alaska segment with Giggy and Jake Blavelt. And then that was kind of like, that was early Feb. It was like the earliest Hostenik had ever been to Alaska. And we just had the most insane trip ever. Those guys were just like neck and neck, just ripping everything in sight. And that was where like I called Billy and was like, dude, I think we're getting a movie. Like, I think it's happening now. It's starting to work. And I think that really just being in Alaska with that crew and having Justin as backup, and you know, I was kind of like shooting more of the ground angles, and Justin was up in the helicopter doing a lot of the heli angles and things like that. All shooting 16 mil.
Shot from a heli?
Oh yeah,
because I have a Patreon question.
Okay.
From Billy Bajork.
Oh, bring it. Sounds like a DJ.
It does, right?
Let's give that
I was
name
saying that name kind of flows, right?
Yeah,
Billy Bajork.
Mm-hmm.
So
I love Bjork. I've always wanted to use her in a snowboard video.
That would be dope.
She's on my list.
On your list.
Sometime.
So he wants to know what it's like to shoot from a heli.
Did you hang out the thing like strapped in? How does that work?
Yeah, it's actually insane because I specialize in shooting 16 mil film. I don't have drones. I don't do any drone work. Like I despise them. I like helicopters. I like the old school approach. It's always insane. I mean, most of the time when you're in a heli, you're going to be in Alaska. That's like where we film a lot of the snowboard videos. And it is so scary, dude. You wake up in the morning, you're like usually in an RV or something on the pass where the helicopters are taking off. It's just like you feel like you're waking up in Vietnam. Or you're just like, you're waking up in a war zone. And I just like wake up hearing helicopters and airplanes and all these things around you, all these motors and loud noises. And you're just like, whoa, dude, this is crazy. I'm going to freaking die today. This is nuts. And I kind of like, man, I mean, it's just so nerve-wracking. You almost have to be on drugs or like drink a beer or something to really, this is something I learned later in life. You can't go in stiff and nervous. You kind of just have to like be at the mercy of the helicopter. You have to really trust your pilot. And how it goes down is I'm wearing a harness around my legs and my waist. My camera is strapped to my arm by a tether, because if you drop your camera, it could hit the tail rotor of the helicopter. Oh. And then that means everyone dies. The door's off, and it's usually me sitting on the floor with my feet on the legs of the helicopter and the photographer sitting on the chair next to me a little bit higher and also tied in. But we usually double tie it. We have a guide in the helicopter that will kind of it's really loud with the doors off. You can't hear anything, and you're wearing these headsets. So I have direct contact with the pilot. And I'll be telling him like, all right, left, right, or that's perfect. I like it smooth, just trying to keep it smooth as possible. And it's one of those things that you're doing, and you'll do it like maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes, and then it's all over. But you don't remember any of it because you're so focused and you're so just like, got to keep the camera still. It's all handheld, so it's like my eye has to be up against my eyepiece. And yeah, I don't get air sick or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. It's super nerve-wracking. I've learned to keep it chill. I mean, I've done it over 100 times now, where it's like, that's where I thrive, dude. It's
even
like,
changing film?
Changing film is that you just don't do it up there. You
because I've had to change memory cards up there.
So gnarly.
Gnarly.
Yeah, I mean, Hostenik, he runs two different cameras, so he'll have like two tethered. So I'll have one here, and another one over here, like
Yeah.
ready to go. And he's like the god of filming in Alaska. Like that dude, he knows. It was like actually, I'm so lucky to have been able to shadow him a little bit and see what he does. It blows my mind, and he just like is incredible. But I think just like when you get a shot, you know, you can't freak out because then your camera's going to get shaky or whatever else. But it's one of those things where you need experience points, and I have quite a bit now with that, and it doesn't really freak me out anymore. I'm kind of okay with it, and just like, yo, that's how I want to film. Like, we're going to film from a helicopter. This is crazy. Let's go.
So when you're the guy that's going to be in the heli, you're just like, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really having a good relationship with your pilot as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes, like one time I was filming for some of the tricks in 9191, hanging out of the helicopter. The pilot doesn't speak English. He's Spanish because we're in Chile. And I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
whatever.
You
Just kind of go with it.
You need
yeah.
to direct them
but
bit.
a lot of these guys, they kind of know. They're used to
Yeah.
that sort of stuff, and they've worked with film crews before. So
I always
how to
felt
make it
like it's
happen.
like hunting big game
right?
in
yeah.
Africa or something. You got your
There
lens
he
and
is.
You're just like, there he is.
What was that, like an old
Let's
Airwalk
move in on
commercial
him.
where they like shoot Todd Richards with a gun, and then
that's
like,
what it feels like
yeah.
when you're up in the heli with your lens and you trust
Right?
in the pilot.
Yeah, it's a wild feeling. When I come home from Alaska
not for
every year,
everybody.
it's definitely not for everyone. When I come home from Alaska for every year, I literally am so drained and just want to go hit music festivals and party my brains out because I'm like, I made it through. I'm alive. Let's go.
Now I want to bookmark what you said earlier, how you met Gigi and you and him both like the party, and then you also, I've been told and I've seen and I've observed the fact that you like to party. Now, how old are you?
39.
Okay, you're 39. You travel around all summer. You go to music festivals, and you party like a maniac. A lot of people I've talked to in doing my research for this, they're like, Jake, he knows how to throw them back. He knows how to party. Now, how do you get this fountain of youth where you're able to party like a maniac and still live your life? What's the secret?
I think there's a difference between partying like a maniac and just being like I like to have a good time, and I like to be around people. I love, I don't know, man. There's something about like music festivals or something like that I love, like being anonymous, and I love taking photos of that. And so for me, it's like staying up late and being there, and I'm always the last one standing because I don't want to miss anything. I have serious FOMO at all times. So,
So you're
I think it just kind of comes with that. I mean, for me, I feel like I keep it pretty chill, but I just like being there.
No hardcore
And-
street drugs, just beer.
Yeah, just beer. I mean, just drink some beer every
Maybe
once in a
that's the
while.
key to
and,
the
that is the
Yes.
key.
I just
Not taking it too
you
far.
know, I think I just have like a crazy metabolism, and I can just like eat whatever I want. I can drink whatever I want. It doesn't affect me.
I mean, I learned early when you hang with this guy, you're going to either be in a helicopter, you're going to be backstage, you're going to be around girls. Shit happens around him, and I think you're just one of those dudes that
You know, man, I
Right
just
place, right time, all the time.
I love finding like sneaking into things. I love finding the backstage access. I love just the rogue people I can talk to. I love talking to security guards. I love like just like figuring out a way to spray paint your wristband to get backstage access. And I don't like getting handed that. I like to work for it. I like to find my own way to be on stage at a MIA concert. You know, I
That's
like to
tight.
put the work in, and then I think that I have a unique perspective as far as my photography goes for music photography is like, I want to be in the pit for a little bit, and then I'm going to like figure out my way to sneak backstage and get those moments that not everyone can get. And I've kind of been very stealth, and I think I filmed that way as well, where a lot of people don't even know I'm shooting them, but I'm getting the clips and they'll see it later, you know? It's kind of like a lot of the ways I approach snowboard filmmaking is kind of a voyeuristic style, and filming moments that a lot of people or filming moments that are natural. I don't want to force anything. I'm never going to tell a snowboarder what to do or what to say. It's like, Neil, I want you to be you, and I'm just going to capture that.
The fly on the wall.
Fly on the wall, but also knowing when to, the timing of when you can get in there and get what I envision, what I see there.
Not everybody, I would say, even more so. Most people don't have that skill set when it comes to being behind the lens.
I mean, and also no good story comes from being sober. So you got to remember
That's a great
it.
one
And
right there.
honestly, I think
I've never heard that.
the last 20 years of my life has been carrying a video camera around just so I remember what happened the night before. A lot of the
tip.
time, man, it's like, you know, when we were running the website Bored as Fuck, it was straight
I
up.
had that bookmarked, by the way.
Oh yeah, it was kind of like it was a way ahead of its time in a way. I wish there was a snowboard site like that now, but Instagram obviously killed that. But you know, to be able to post like what I was doing all the time was really cool, and it was just like I like keeping people guessing. You just, you know, a lot of you know, I'm pretty private. I don't really put a lot of my personal life out there. This is the first time I've ever really been interviewed. And to me, it hurt me in some ways where my team managers or the bosses would be like, yo, why aren't you guys snowboarding? Like, it looks like you've just been binge drinking for a week straight. And I'm literally like, no, dude, we're snowboarding every day. But we're also binge drinking all day too.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, that's actually kind of a perfect segue for our guest question from Austin Smith and Curtis Ciszek.
Oh, no.
Now,
Tag team?
It's a tag team. It's a doubleheader. Now, the guest question is presented by Solomon Snowboards. Last winter was my first year riding the Solomon Assassin Pro. I rode the 162, and it's really soft, and it's also very responsive. So I got a handful of days out on that board. It kicks ass in powder. It's probably your powder park jump kind of weapon, I would say, from Solomon. And also, I know that Jake is a big six-stick rider from Solomon.
Oh, big time, man. I've been riding the six stick for 10 years.
When I think of Jake, I think of the six stick.
Yeah,
for some
absolutely,
reason.
man. I'm
You
just
always have
addicted to
one.
it, dude.
Yeah.
It's like I have never ridden a snowboard I love as much as that thing. It's insane. Just get on the 57, which is pretty short for me, but it just floats through everything.
Rides like a bigger board.
It rides like a bigger board. I ride it in Alaska. I ride it every POW day. It is just like perfect for me. I love
6
it.
feet tall on a 57,
57.
and AK. That's
Yeah.
definitely must ride like a big
It's
board.
such a sick board. It just has
sought
so
after.
much pop. The bamboo in it and everything. It just like it makes it easy. And it just is
awesome.
like I just like whippy boards that feel like loose trucks.
It turns real sharp.
Real sharp. It's great. Love it. And at
Loose
Bachelor, we are
trucks.
traversing like no other. So it makes me a faster snowboarder because I'm like really wiggling every traverse where you get that extra speed on every little bubble and every little bump, you know?
Damn, I might. This guy's got me thinking
Yeah,
I might need
I'm
to cop.
sold.
cop.
Oh, dude, it's
They're hard. You actually can't. You can. It's hard to find six sticks. Like as a rider
sell
on
out
the team,
on-
I never get. I'm like bottom of the totem pole for a six stick. They're like, yeah.
I'm on the
They're
official
like,
six
stick to
stick
the
team.
metal.
They've told me, so they're like, "Oh yeah, we know you're gonna get one every year."
They
yeah.
order
And
And I'm
pre-order
like,
one
oh my
for you.
god, I can't wait for a new one. Yeah, exactly. I love it, man.
All right,
It's the
well-
best board ever.
Let's hit the guest question from Curtis and Austin on the chair at Bachelor. Coming at you.
Hey, Bombhole. It's a little bit windy up here. We're on the summit chair going up Mount Bachelor. Love the show. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Excited that you guys got Jake in the booth there. I think first Bendite. And yeah, Curtis here has a question for him. Okay, Jake. Hello, Bombhole people. Stone, what's up? Haven't seen that Missy flip in a while since Retallic. Ready to get back out there with you. Jake, question here. What item did you drop into the porta potty up on Thompson Pass, and how did you get it out? And sidebar, did you use the porta potty before or after dropping the item into it? Hope this helps. Have fun, Jake. Have fun. Bye.
Oh, we're always having fun, boys. Come on.
Wow.
Windy day at Mount Bachelor going up summit chair. That means they're going to the backside. I live for that.
Means it's a good day.
Oh my god, dude! It means the wind blew up the wind drifts. All the front side slashes are waiting for us.
Okay, let's get into this.
Oh my god!
Let's talk porta
Answer. Oh, you want to talk porta potties?
Isn't that
you guys
what he-
know my history with the porta potties with Honey Bucket?
Unfamiliar. No.
Unfamiliar.
All right, so this is great. My dad, from being a car salesman, he got scouted by Honey Bucket porta potties based in the Northwest, and he's been their sales director for the last 10 years.
For Honey Bucket.
For Honey Bucket. So whenever you see me posting about Honey Bucket, or like there's that photo of Desiree doing a wall ride above the Honey Bucket.
Yeah, I shot that.
Yeah, oh, sick, dude. Hell yeah. There you go. That's on my wall all framed up. I
Really?
showed it to the owner of Honey Bucket, and he's like, oh my God, this is amazing.
Really?
Yeah,
Honey
this is
Bucket saw our shit.
Yeah, dude, big time. So like, yeah, I'm sitting in that honey bucket up on Thompson Pass. We're like day 20. We are just like gone, mentally gone with Jamie, Lynn, and Parker Zumowski. And we have just been having the time of our lives filming for a new Vans project. And I'm just sitting there on my phone, do the deed. And then my phone, I always wear Volcom bibs. And you stick your phone in the top pocket of the bib. Yeah. And when you go to put your bibs up, the phone fucking falls out, and that thing landed right on the turd pile.
No!
Yeah, it was gnarly. Landed right on a turd pile of like all these gnarly AK dudes that haven't showered in months, and diarrhea and everything just in the mix. And my phone just lands right there, and I was like, 5-second rule: reach down, grab that thing, and just like wiped it down with as many Clorox wipes as I could.
God, man.
And then I was just walked out of that thing like a walk of shame back to the fire, and I was like,
the turd pile was up high enough.
Oh, it
where
was
you could
like
just
one
reach.
of those turd piles that goes up to the top.
So would you have a
it was,
log?
it was like there's the
post-log.
AK mountains over here, and then there's the AK mountain in the honey
dude,
bucket.
good thing it didn't roll down and descend.
Oh
First
man,
descent
it would have been
on the
gnarly, but it
turd
was like
pile,
a brand.
dude.
I just had the iPhone 11. It's waterproof, it's shit proof, it's piss proof. So
Dude, that should be an iPhone commercial.
Well, on this subject, when I was talking to Austin Smith, getting some intel, he said, "quote unquote," you take gigantic shits as well. So maybe that helped.
yeah, it's kind of like something with my metabolism also, and I eat a lot, dude. I like steak dinner is like, we'll put that thing down and whatever, and yeah, there's like corncob sized turds sometimes, man. I don't know where they come from. It's crazy, but I think it's like my metabolism to be this skinny. It's just like you got to release what you ate the night before all the time.
That's true, huh?
We're eating corn cobs.
Well, while we're on the subject of partying and shitting, I have just a keyword from Curtis, and it's pita pit butt cheeks.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, this is one of the pita pit butt cheeks, huh? Interesting. Yeah, that's just like a classic Bend night. You're out on the town. It's fucking freezing ass cold out, and like to party in Bend. Bend's a party town. 10 barrels from there, and we just
An air horn.
we like to get drunk, man. We have like really good snowboard days, and then it's like go kick back some beers, and then next thing you know, you're down at Velvet. Next thing you know, you're down there at Velvet getting a drink, and we like to party in Bend. So Pita Pit's right around the corner, wasted, and just glass door, just stuck my ass cheeks right against that fucking thing, and instantly this lady comes out and just pounces on me. I go to the ground. She's just like fist in my face. Boom. I'm just dying laughing, like laid on the ground.
She came
like,
out of the pita pit and attacked
came
you?
out of the Pita Pit, attacked me. My pants are around my ankles.
Just for spreading ham?
Yeah,
on the-
spreading ham.
She won or what?
She won. I didn't even try. I'm
You
not
didn't
going to
even
punch a
try.
girl, man.
Yeah, of
no
course.
Well, that's a great keyword. Thank you for that. Intel from.
Well, we're in the
Kurt.
bomb hole, man. We
I'll
gotta
tell
talk
you what,
talk
that
some shit.
town
Huh?
does party, man. My days of Super Park up there, wow, I almost didn't make it out alive.
Yeah, it's a party town. It's dangerous.
You guys know what's going on.
Yep. Borderline
And I've heard the
alcoholism.
summer's even crazier.
Summer's nuts, man.
Yeah,
floating the
floating the
river,
river.
everything, and just hanging around. No, you know what? We're all pro snowboarders or in the snowboard industry, so no one has a job.
Like the
So,
first
like-
time I witnessed LARPing was in
Yeah.
that town.
Oh, 100%. We got the
Serious LARP
classic
scene going on down
LARP
there.
scene down at the park. It's a beautiful town. It's a great place. Don't come there. But
It sucks
no, that
there.
already
Bench
happened,
sucks.
dude. That already happened. Everyone's
Memories
there.
of getting shit faced and floating the river on 4th of July.
You've
Yeah,
been there on
good
the
times.
4th.
Oh yeah.
I've heard it's the
yeah.
spot.
Absolutely. Yeah, don't come. It's already too many people. But you know what? That's one thing I got to say. Like, when people are like, "Oh, the town is different. It's like change and all this," and to me, it's like, "Yo, man, the more people, the better." It's like helping everyone.
That's
and
true.
It is annoying. Like, there's traffic now. Like to get up to the mountains, a long lit line where it used to take 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes. Now it's an hour.
You can't stop it.
But man, I don't know. You can't stop it. And,
Yeah.
and you know what? Honestly, everyone that's coming they're doing it right. That's
Yeah,
where you
they're
should
enjoying
be,
it.
dude.
They're on
Like
the
get to the
mountain.
mountains, get out of the city, like
Yeah.
be outside. That's what we're promoting. That's what I'm making videos for, to get people to want to snowboard. And I want people to go in the backcountry and figure this all
It's
stuff,
working.
you know?
Yeah.
And it is working. This year, is the most people I've ever seen in the mountains, and it's I love it.
Nobody's
more
working
people to
anymore.
ollie when you're riding down the run, and more skiers to slash and whatever
Exactly.
else, man.
Spray them
That's
skiers.
annoying. It used to be nobody in the hill. It's like, yeah, there's People are having sex. They're having kids.
Yeah.
We're breeding, and there's more people on the
100%.
planet. And the parking lot has more people than it did last year, and the year before that, and the year before that. So just fucking deal with it and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean,
leave earlier if you want to
yeah,
get.
you got to be
first
on
chair.
it, man. Just be on it, and like we're pro at that. That's what we got to do, dude. You have to be on it, and we're the best at it there is. So, and also it's just like it's an addiction to POW, and I have that. I'll wake up. That's the only thing I will wake up early for is like getting fresh tracks in the morning because you have to be there. If you're not there, you're blowing it. So.
Yeah, you can't reset those tracks, right?
No, definitely not.
Hey, you talked about being a fast snowboarder.
Yeah, dude.
got
I think
some-
just riding Bachelor, man, you got to be fast.
I heard you got some duct tape.
Yeah, we got some duct tape.
And for
dude,
the
I
layman's-
had like that means Mount Baker bank slalom
Winner.
winner. But in the Masters category, not necessarily
lot of
pro,
fast people.
but I cannot compete with those dudes. Like one year, I think I qualified in 12th place or something in the pro category, but like that was back in the day before people really like started doing it.
Yeah.
Now it's like I could enter pro and get 30th place, or I can enter my category, which is Masters non-sponsored, and which is what I am. I've never been like pro snowboarder and do pretty well sometimes. I mean, for me, the races, you're either like my mindset is like I'm either gonna fucking win or I'm gonna eat shit, and it can go either way. I'm not getting second or third. Although that's pretty much what I've gotten a million times at Dirksen Derby and Rat Race is like always second and third. But yeah, they got the duct tape at Baker that one year, and it was probably like one of the best days of my life. It was just insane. 2 weeks later, I was up in Canada at the GT Memorial. It's a no-board race, so no bindings, pillow ride, kind of like Chinese downhill race, and ended up winning that as well.
Everyone at once on pillows?
Yeah, everybody at once on pillows, and
I've
it's in
seen
this
some footage of this.
dude. It's in this Volcom webisode that I was up there filming, and then of course I got a race. You got to do it.
And he won.
Yeah, and then I ended up winning it, and it was just like that was like a life highlight, dude. I just couldn't believe it. But I think like for me, I just try to snowboard every day. Like I snowboard as much as possible. I freaking love it, and when you snowboard every day, your muscles are in tune. Like, I'll do the Baker course and it's just like, oh, that's like a run at Bachelor. It's mellow. But it's almost like the nerves that is what you have to kind of get through. And honestly, the day I won that, I was like, we were on this Volcom Blizzard Bazaar tour, which is we were traveling around the West Coast with Volcom band, filming that, then snowboarding every day. And the night before, Jamie Lynn's band was playing in Washington, and we just totally blacked out. Don't remember anything. Woke up on the tour bus. We had a driver, so just woke up in the parking lot at Baker, went up there and won it. And was just like, I think it was just the fact that I was hungover, didn't have a chance to even think about it, and then just like put it down.
Incredible, yeah. So not just a filmmaker, but still getting podiums, and then going out there and filming 16 mil of Gigi Ruff. Now going back to one thing I wanted to bookmark was we were talking about how you shot film your whole career, which most people, for people that are unfamiliar with snowboard movies, you start shooting film back early 2000s, and then it kind of fizzled all into digi, and most people transitioned into a digital camera. Now throughout the entire course of your filming career, you have been using 16 mil. Now personally, there's something that's timeless about 16 mil. And I can't put my finger on it. What makes 16 millimeters so special?
Shooting film for me is you're really doing something. You're not just hitting record on a digital camera where it's just like beep. Okay, it's doing something. It's going onto a SD card or whatever it is, or a tape. For me, like burning film, you're like, you can hear it going through the camera. I'm looking through the viewfinder. You can see the film ripping through the eyepiece, and it's just it just feels like more of like I'm doing art. Like it's like I'm painting the picture. It's like gonna be on this roll of film, and the thing that separates it is you're gonna have fuck ups. Like things are gonna be out of focus. There's gonna be light leaks. There's gonna be things that you don't see. Where when you shoot on a digital camera, like a red camera or something like that, it's perfect every time. It always looks the same. So when you go to edit that footage, the digital stuff is so boring because there's nothing else to work with. Where when I'm editing a movie that was shot on film, or that I shot on film, it's like there's little mistakes that you can edit to To me, man, a lot of snowboard videos is in the editing. You know, you can film the best stuff in the world, like the best tricks, the best everything. But if it's edited shitty or it has terrible music, no one's going to want to watch it.
Yeah, that's a great note on that. I like hearing that. And in my experience, I've shot some 8mm. I have 8mm. And I think there's something also in the way that you shoot it. Like you wouldn't capture the moments the same way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's just like you throw in the fact that you don't know what you're actually getting, or you don't know if you're even getting anything. There could be a chance that film roll had a light leak and you missed everything. Mm-hmm. But honestly, when it turns out good, which it usually does almost all the time, it's better than what you could ever hope for. And it just makes a huge difference once you're in the editing bay.
And then that goes even further. You know, if you think about you're shooting 16mm for these movies, and then there's no audio because it's just film. People forget that. So if you look at the attention to detail, when I watched your old videos where you're shooting 16 and you're laying over audio behind it, I want to talk about the sound mastering.
Yeah, I think, dude, that's a great question, because I think that's like something that I brought to snowboarding. It was I first did that. We kind of did a little bit of that in December, and that's where I kind of got the vision that I'm like, well, skate videos have skate sounds, snowboard videos have fake rail sounds, but no one has like backcountry sounds. Mm-hmm. And so I just like made it a point to always have a digicam running. I'd just set it on a tripod, or just like to get some audio involved with like what's happening. And then I'd be shooting 16 for the tricks. And then I'd throw wireless microphones on the riders. And sometimes you get some talking and just like that kind of stuff, because everyone has like their different way of what they're going to do when they hit a jump, or they're going to, like Shandy again, he'll just be like cussing and like throwing out whatever. It's just absolutely, that Shandy was really the guy that it was like, wow, he's so funny when he's snowboarding. I've never heard anyone that vocal. We need to put a mic on him. And same with like Travis Parker and Crawford. Like those dudes were just hilarious, you know. And when you watch December, you can really see the moments where I mic them up. Mm-hmm. We're getting this different side of video production that no one had ever really done before. And making IR77 with Lucas Huffman, that was where I like really was like, this is the vibe I want to have. I want to have every shot in this movie is going to have like real sound from that actual spot, whether it's at the takeoff or the landing or wherever the camera is. And we spent a lot of time. I spent a month, you know, on that, editing that movie and getting the sound just perfect. And you know, my whole career, I was never taught how to edit. I was never taught really how to do any of that stuff. I just kind of learned by doing it, you know. And audio design, you're kind of flailing in a way. Like I'm like, oh, it sounds good to me. Perfect. Let's run it, you know? And same with editing. It's just like, this is what I see. It took me a long time to get fast at it, but now it's like, you know, I think over the years I've just gotten better and better and better. And now when I work on a project, I edit in my mind. I don't even sit in front of the computer. I watch the footage, sit on it, take a week off, go surfing, go just kind of do my thing, and just like kind of wait for something to happen. And I really truly believe that things happen for a reason. And I'll literally be in a cafe and I'll hear a song. I'm like, yo, that's the song. All right, cool. Shazam it, put it in my list. Then go back to the editing bay and bust it all out in a day. It's just like, all right, let's get this done. And because it was already in my mind. I already saw the clips lining up in the way they should be. And honestly, editing a snowboard video, it's kind of like, you know what's going to be the ender. You know what's going to be the starter. It's all the sell that I was talking about earlier. It's like, all right, let's show them what we're going to sell them, fill in the rest, and then like knock a home run at the end.
That is a great structure of a video explained in a way I've never heard. And personally, I love that. And going back to some of the subtleties that have stuck out to me, you know, obviously when you mic'd up Parker and stuff in December, but even the subtleties, I know you worked for Vans and you worked on Landline and been with them for a few years now. And I just remember like one thing that makes Backcountry so much better is just even a subtle walkie-talkie countdown, 3, 2, 1, and just seeing that in the background, hearing that, or sled go by with audio.
Yeah,
it just
for sure.
makes such a big difference.
Now it's to the point, okay, so like I did IR77 like in 2008, I believe. So we're coming up on like, that movie was 15 years old. And, you know, when that comes out and people see that, they get influenced by that. And then next thing you know, you have like the standard movie Black Snow with all these fucking crazy ass sound
That one
effects and
was a
stuff or
little-
whatever the hell that was.
Yeah.
And you're
I
just
remember
like,
that
Too
one.
much.
oh my God, it's like too much. You're like, yo, okay, it's sick. You tried, but yo, that's wrong. And, you know, I've never been influenced by snowboard videos. There's not one I can really think of that was like, that was, okay, I can think of one. It was Critical Condition.
That
But
movie's pretty
just
dope.
because they go to Bachelor, it's like Damien and, you know, and then it's just like Gnarly Crash and there's Speaking Over It, Dave Cioni, all this stuff.
Is that where Farmer raps?
Yeah, I think it is,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
Yeah, I can't remember.
The movie just had a lot of flavor.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So you're not
And-
influenced by snowboard videos.
But no, I'm not at all. Like, I'm actually, what influences me in snowboard videos is how bad most of them are. I mean, shots fired, but yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
But like, I see a video, I'm like, that could be so much better. And I want to see snowboard filmmakers really like thinking more that we can do anything we want. There is a formula, but fucking break that formula. Like, yo, you can do anything you want. Like, let's see something different. And every project that I'm a part of, I've tried to make completely opposite of the project right before that, because I want to keep everyone guessing, and I don't want to have like the same style of throughout my whole career. I want everything to be different, and that's what I think people can like see my movies and kind of like be like, oh, I don't know what to expect with this one, you know.
And a lot of other people just want to follow that formula.
Yeah, I mean, you just see what like Justin's doing at Absinthe, and it's kind of been the same movie forever. And you know, they changed a little bit here and there, but you know, that's his vision.
Yeah.
You know, but I think it's opened a door for me where I'm influenced from skate videos 100%, and like I'm a phenom for skate videos. I watch every single skate video, everything. Like every morning I wake up, first thing I do, go to Thrasher, just like watch everything. But you know, it really was back in the Exit Real World days. There was like an era of like 411 issue 50, Sight Unseen.
That's my era,
you know,
growing up. Of
dude, Sight Unseen.
Cardiel.
Yeah, Cardiel, Heath Kirchart. I mean, Heath Kirchart was always been my number one like inspiration, you know, in like skateboard world and all that.
I want to bookmark something you said earlier, and you talked about, you know, we're putting things together. You're from Salem, Oregon, right? You grew up from a place where there's no fucking snowboarding, and you've become one of the most successful snowboard filmmakers in some of the biggest projects that's ever been made in snowboarding. Now, what advice do you have? And I'm going to preface this with the fact that I like how you just said the fact that, like, yeah, I was editing IR77. I had no clue what the hell I was doing, but I figured it out. And what advice would you have for somebody that's like, oh man, I don't know if I'm going to make it as a pro, but I want to be a filmmaker and I want to make videos. What advice would you give them?
Man, I think that throughout my career, I can only speak about myself because of what I've experienced, and I've always been backed by the right people. And it's never really me. It's always somebody else. Like it was David Benedict grabbing me to film for him once Robot Food dissolved. It was Travis Parker grabbing me. It was later in the Volcom years where Pat Moore was like, yo, Jake is my guy. He's going to film my movie. And which even segued into me transitioning from Volcom to Vans, where Pat was like, I want Jake to film the backcountry stuff for Landline. And so it's really like the writers, if you just find your crew and your people that you like being around and you can document that, then I think you guys will all come up together.
That's great advice.
Yeah, it's honestly, dude, there's a lot of people behind the scenes in my life that have done so much for me, you know, from Ken Block, from when I worked on DC Mountain Lab 1.5, Robot Food, Jess Gibson, Pierre Wickberg, going into me, you know, working for Billy Anderson for 8 years. Billy just did everything for me. I mean, he really opened up the door for me to be a director, and he really gave me the long leash to take my vision and make movies. And then from there, working for Kevin Casillo at Vans is just a dream come true. It's just like been absolutely insane. And I look at my resume now and I'm just like, dude, it's so insane that I've gotten the opportunity to work on all of these projects and that somebody, you know, believed in me. And you know, I think it's like really important to have your confidence and in really taking your own vision into what you want people to see. And a lot of that, I get very influenced. You know, we talked about earlier how I like to party. I think being on premiere tours and being with the fans when the videos come out is so important. Like to sit there on the 9191 tour with Giggy and travel around the world in 30 days and do 25 video premieres in a row every single night. For me, like meeting people and talking to everyone and letting them like tell me how great the movie is, which is what everyone says, even though sometimes I think they suck, but you're like, all right, dude, whatever. But you learn from that. And when I sit down to start a project, I think of being at the premiere. I'm like, what are people going to be like clap to? What are people going to get psyched on? What's going to get people amped? And that's like the moment that I've had that experience of doing that 100 times, being at premieres, where it's like, okay, we got to knock this one out of the park. We need to make sure that this is dead on, spot on, perfect.
Oh man, that's genius. I think a lot of editors don't think that way, and the good ones do. But I'd like to try to circumnavigate a lot of what we heard and process it in my own words, because I think about the fact of a lot of people, they want to follow the sure path, right? It's like, if I go to college and I go to college for this thing, I can get a degree and it's safe and I can do that. And what I'm hearing from you is that you kind of nurtured these relationships with all these people. It's not what you know, it's who you know. You met these people, you nurtured these relationships, you became friends. Filming fell into your lap because people wanted to fucking hang out with you and you wanted to film snowboarding. And the one other thing I heard that really stuck out to me is that, you know, you're talking about how, like, I believe everything happens for a reason. Now, what I hear there, you're like, I hear a song and then I put it in the movie. And what I hear there is like trusting your intuition. And that's huge. You know, that's something that people, it's not tangible, but you're like, you know, I don't know why this, you know, this is the song, but this is the song because I feel like it's just like being able to be in tune with your intuition and follow that is what I'm hearing. And those are kind of the bullet points that stuck out to me so far.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I spend all winter working on filming, but as soon as summer hits, the reason why I go to music festivals, the reasons why I'm traveling to New York, Los Angeles, or anywhere in the world is because I'm looking for influence. And you just never know where you're going to find it. Like I love going to art museums. I'll be at the MoMA, like, you know, once a month just to go see what's around and see if I can see something that gets me inspired. And, you know, for me, it hasn't been about looking at Instagram. It's more about being out there and being around people and seeing, like, going to New York for a month to go to as many concerts as I can to see what's popping out there, because they're ahead of the curve. Like, everyone in New York is like 2 years ahead of what's going to be happening in Salt Lake or in LA or whatever. So if I can get on the ground floor of what's cool or what's going to happen to forecast what I think a snowboard video should look like, or a commercial or any kind of video, I'll be there.
Yeah, that's an inspiration.
What's the MoMA?
Museum of Modern Art.
New York?
New York,
Okay.
the dopest place on earth, my favorite place on earth.
I've been there. I just didn't know it's called the MoMA.
Yeah.
I like that.
Also, the act of actively seeking out inspiration. People are like, oh, I'm not inspired. It's like, you gotta fucking hunt that shit down and look for
man.
it.
And honestly, like, dude, to me, I'm a visual artist. Like, I need to be ahead of the curve. I need to make up something that no one's ever seen before. So I want to, you know, I think every movie I've made, I've never had a hit. Like, I've never had something that won the Trans World Video of the Year. Like, like 9191 was barely, I don't even think it was nominated. And my videos hit, it's something, I don't know what it is. Every single video I've ever made hits 10 years later. It kind of like, I think it's because they are so different at the time. They're not following the current trends of what's happening. But 10 years later, people are like, oh shit, dude, I just saw IR77. That's insane. Like, that's
They're like
I can't
sleeper
believe
cult classics.
big time. And
Yeah.
I love that, man. Like, that if I could just make cult classics for the rest of my life, like, I love that. I'd rather be that dude than just busting out a movie that everyone's seen before. I want to make something that's completely different. And I really got to say that, just give so many thanks to the producers like Billy and Kevin that believe in me. You know, they believe that like that, you know, most of the time when I turn in the first draft of like 9191, it's usually like, oh fuck, this is going to be crazy. Like, no one's going to like this. But then it's like, no, we'll nurture this. And like, trust me, like, this will hit, you know?
I can name 5 people off the top of my head, 911's their favorite movie. Straight up.
Yeah,
So
there's
it's
a
like-
lot of people in the booth that will say that,
Yeah,
you know?
straight up,
Yeah. I think 911 was just so special because we brought in Baron, and he did the original soundtrack with like,
so good.
I mean, it was insane, dude. He's like, yeah, we got Dave Lombardo from Slayer, and yeah, you're gonna go film him for the day while we're making the soundtrack.
Does
So I'm
that
like,
cost some serious money or what?
the Cheddar Bisque?
Yeah.
You know, no, it was like
He was just excited?
He got paid.
Yeah.
He definitely got paid, but what we paid him was probably like a quarter of what it would have cost to license all
The music.
all the music for the video anyway. So it's like, why license all this shit when Volcom can pay for it, have it all produced by an amazing musician, get very high level artists to be involved, and then they can sell it on iTunes and make their money back. So like he got paid
Giving
nothing.
out some trade
but,
secrets
you
right
know,
here, huh?
Straight up, dude. Like,
Yeah.
if you've noticed, most of my projects that I've worked on in the last 5 years, I've always gotten custom soundtracks made because I don't even know how to deal with that stuff. Like, I don't want to deal with rights, licensing.
When you end
and
up
all
getting
this
the
stuff.
songs you don't even want because they're too expensive
Yeah,
for
exactly.
the good songs.
I mean, like I said, every movie's different. Like from the difference from like 9191 to Volcom's Mr. Plant with Pat Moore. Like that movie was like, okay, I'm going to do a movie that's going to be all digital. And there's no film in that movie. It's like, okay, this is my like chance to like really try to step into the future of digital cameras and all this stuff. And I tried that, and it was okay. Like, you know, the movie turned out awesome because Pat is just the best dude ever. He's just
his section's unreal.
I mean, it's
Workhorse.
insane. Like that was another. I don't even think he was nominated for Writer of the Year with a 12-minute long video part. I'm like, yo, the politics in video
It's the
stuff
politics.
is absolutely insane.
One thing I wanted to talk about real quick too is that when you work for Volcom, I know that you had unlimited travel budget, correct?
I've always had unlimited travel budget.
If you want to make a great movie, brands, listen to that shit. Like, give the right people the budget.
Yeah,
to
and it's not
go
like we're
where they
going
need-
crazy, dude.
Yeah.
We're still 5 people to a hotel room. You know,
Yeah.
it's like it's so expensive to make a movie in the backcountry. I mean, filming in Whistler, for example, $200 just to gas up your sled and to buy a sled pass for the day. Then you're talking, we have our transceivers, snowmobile in general, it's fucking 14 grand. We all have to have trucks. You have to have sled decks. We have to have food, which is probably about $150 a day. So every day we're at like $1,100 a day, you know, and that's just one person. That's me, the filmer. The writers have their own different budgets and things like that, but it is not cheap to make a snowboard video. But on the flip side, snowboard videos, as far as the marketability of what it can do for a brand, it's super cheap. It's like, I mean, look at someone like Pepsi, or no, look at someone like Ford Trucks. Like, what do you think they spend on a commercial? Probably $5 million.
Yeah, a lot of money.
A lot of money. We're making a whole movie for 500 grand.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's fucked. Like, why aren't we getting the money that those guys are getting? Because you know what I could make for $5 million? I could anything.
I would like to find out.
Yo, let's do this. I mean, Ford Trucks, hit me up.
Dude, what's crazy is it seems there's a barrier to entry to become a backcountry filmer that there isn't for street. And is it money?
Well, knowledge.
Well, yeah, I think it's like experience, knowledge, and it's probably where you grew up, you know? Like, if I grew up in Minnesota, man, I'd be filming streets because
Yeah.
I've come from skateboarding, or like, that's what you do. One word of advice I can say is that my career totally changed when I became like a backcountry specialist filmer. And there's only like 10 of us in the world, and every December I get hit up by 15 companies, just like, or writers,
guy.
like, yo, like, this guy's out, we need you, like, what can you do? And I'm always like, yo, man, I have my dream job, I work for Vans, I'm dialed. Like, sorry if you're not on our team, man. But
Not
also
gonna
on
happen.
the other side of the coin is like, I'm always open to anyone. Like, if you're around, yo, come film with us. Like, as long as the riders are down, I think the more the merrier. The more people around, the more fun it is, everything else. And
More hands to help build
yeah,
up when
and
you're
so
needed
like
and-
really, if you're like an up and coming snowboard filmer and you're filming in the streets and you have an idea you want to try to get into backcountry filming, I think it's just like work your way up, man. And you know, you got to get your sled skills dialed. Like, start learning how to snowmobile. Start just hanging out with people that are like minded. Like, you know, I see what Germ is doing, or Tyler Orton. Like, those guys are the gods now in the backcountry as far as the young up and coming filmmakers. Like, they're just killing it. And I don't know if they'd have a place in street boarding still if they didn't step it up and become those guys.
And that kind of segues us into the conversation I'm going to get into right now, which is we just recorded a commercial for Wild Mike's.
Yeah, we did.
And it was fun to see this guy over here, Jake, click into producer mode, and we had a script and we had all this stuff going on, and it was a blast, man.
It
Yeah, it's
felt
kind of,
pro as fuck.
Yeah, it was super pro. Yeah.
Man, I mean, the whole goal of it all is to have fun. And, the guys at Wild Mike's are just incredible. They're like such a cool company. They're from the Northwest. Pizza's insane. And, to have you guys involved, it's a dream team. You guys
was fun.
are the best first-time actors I've ever seen. You just absolutely nailed it. Cut to commercial right now. Let's see this.
Listen, we need to talk about Wild Mike's. The fact is, they are a sponsor, and you signed a contract guaranteeing them certain concessions, one of them being spot on the show.
Well, that's where I see things just a little differently. Contract or no, I will not bow to any sponsor.
I'm sorry you feel that way, but basically, it's the nature of the beast.
Maybe I'm wrong on this one, but for me, the beast doesn't include selling out. Stoney, you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
I can't talk about it anymore. It's giving me a headache.
Here, drink one of these.
The Bomb Hole. Banter. Edgy. Cheddar biscuits.
Look, you can stay here in the big leagues and play by their rules, or you can go back to the farm club. It's your choice.
Yes, and it's the choice of a bomb hole generation. But no, that whole process of seeing you and directing and saying action, and then you made the whole script, and then you were doing really good coaching as far as we were supposed to be Wayne and Garth from Wayne's World, and it was like,
No, you were them. You
we got into character, but it was like, you need to be more arrogant, or you need to do this, and it was really fun.
Yeah, I think it's like playing pretend, man, and confidence goes a long way when you're directing. And, I don't really do a lot of dialogue in directing and things like this, but I know what I like and I know what I see, and I know I can feel it when you guys nailed your lines. Like, you felt it too. So that kind of stuff comes naturally for me, just being around cameras and being around editing and all that stuff. It's like, this is what I do. It's easy for me. It's like I woke up more nervous to do this interview than I did to direct a commercial.
Damn. That's cool.
Well, how are you feeling now as far as the nerves?
I'm a little shaky.
You're still shaky.
Yeah, I don't know if it's cold or just.
Yeah, for the listeners,
I just don't know what you're gonna hit me with, man.
It's freezing in the booth.
I swear it's not even that cold outside. It's weird.
I
guess it's the sun.
I think when you're just sitting inside of an ice box. Yeah. So we take breaks.
Being a filmer and a photographer, Stone, we know how to be cold.
My hands aren't cold.
Dude, yeah, our hands are just seasoned, right?
Seasoned.
Working in the snow, man, and getting back to being a backcountry specialist filmer. I don't even know if that's like a proper title in snowboarding, but I'll say it because that's what I do.
Like you said, there's only 10 of you, so it's pretty crazy.
It's nuts, man. You know what's crazy, Stone, is the last time I filmed Street Rails.
I was going to ask you
for
this.
91 Words for Snow, Justin Benny, right?
Quebec,
yep. Mikey LeBlanc, Kid Snow. And God, what a sick time! It was the first time I met you.
Yeah,
and
that was so sick.
I was just supposed to be a fly in the wall and just burn and film.
Well, and it was so cool to see you mic everyone up.
Yeah,
and go about that process. And
dude, all those tapes got stolen.
What?
Yeah.
Who stole them? If you knew you'd
Salem. I was living in Salem still at the time, and just somebody broke into my truck and stole all of my footage from the whole year that was digital from 91 Words for Snow. It was gnarly. I had to call David and tell him. It's the only time this ever happened. Learned a lesson.
It's happened to a couple people.
It has.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it happens.
I was moving. Everything was in my truck. I was moving from Salem to Bend.
It was
a big moment in my life, and then it was like, there's so much stuff to deal with. It, like, a bag's missing.
Yeah.
And of course, it's the hard drives and tapes. Thank God all the 16 was getting transferred somewhere else. So
would you
that saved
ever
the movie.
keep it in the car again?
Never. I never did.
Yeah,
Everything
never
is
again.
inside every night.
Even like when you go to dinner, it's like bring the shit in.
Yeah, hard
When you're on a
drives.
trip?
When we're on a trip, especially shooting 16 mil, you got to remember, man, when we shoot these rolls of film, all the shots are. This roll of film is probably worth $10,000.
True.
With these priceless clips of like Arthur Longo landing a trick he's never done before. So I usually, I don't really want to tell people where I hide them, but they're somewhere around.
You put them in
but
your prison wallet?
Sometimes we'll, yeah.
The old prison pocket, eh?
Prison
they're too
wallet
big.
is your butthole, actually. For
That's
the people
why you
that don't
can take
know.
such big
Oh
poops.
shit!
That's where he hides them.
Yeah, that's where they come from.
Classic.
Pack
yeah.
a serious log in there.
But I mean, for landline, I had a stack, probably 15 rolls of 400 feet film rolls that I'm like FedExing overnight to California to get transferred. And you're like, yo, if something happens to this, then this is crazy. Like the amount of money we're spending every day, it is priceless for sure. And then also my camera I shoot with is a very specific Aeroflex 416 plus 16 millimeter camera that are impossible to find. I'm one of the only people in the world that own one. So
They're actually
it's like,
not that expensive, right? They're just hard to find.
well, it wasn't. I got lucky, and I bought it before there was like the resurgence of 16. I just kind of like knew I wanted this new 16. It's the very last one that Aeroflex produced, and I bought it for $8,000. Right now, you can't find them for less than 50.
50.
Yeah.
Because they can't be found.
Yeah, they can't be
It's
found.
all-
They were used as crash cameras. They were used as so there's not that many. It came out the same year as the Red One came out at the trade show. So it was a huge flop for Aeroflex. Probably pretty much put them out of business. Where Red, everyone was buying the Red cam. So all these cameras were sitting around. They went to every rental house in the world, and no one bought them. So I just like knew I wanted it. They're not on eBay. They're nowhere. So I just emailed every rental house in the world. It was like, I want to buy one of your rentals. And they're like, yeah, sure. $8,000. Nobody rents this thing.
Yeah.
So, and it was just perfect. And now it's my baby. But if that camera ever gets stolen or breaks, there's nothing I can do to replace it.
No.
It's just like,
Irreplaceable.
I'm probably done. Like, I don't think I'll make snowboard videos anymore because I'm so in love with that camera.
That'll be your time.
It might be the time.
Just throw in the towel.
So hit me up if you have an Aeroflex 416 Plus. I need a backup, but not for $50K.
Yeah, now they're going to try to get 50.
Yeah.
Dude, going back to the 16, when I lived here with Tanner Pendleton and Harry Hagen, both Vans filmers, lived at this house for a number of years. And around the landline time, they would get rolls back. And the process of shooting something and months later getting back the rolls, they'd be like, it's pretty special deal.
Oh, yeah,
right?
it's Christmas,
exciting
man.
moment.
It's the best. I mean, I think I've been doing this a long time now where I'm just like, well, I'm ready for the heartbreak where like a roll comes back black or something. You're just like, oh, no, I fucked up. But really, it's always like, I think it's a lot to take in when you get all the rolls at once. You're kind of like, oh, wow, we don't have that much stuff. But even though you do, it's always the same thing in the middle of like February. Everyone's like, damn, we don't have a movie. We have no shots. But then when you're going to the editing bay 3 months later, you're like, oh, yeah, actually we filmed like a whole segment that month. Like it's just like all relative because you always want to get better and better stuff.
One thing we breezed over real quick, the AK stuff. It's kind of funny. People want to be, you dream of being a pro snowboarder, but when I'm looking at shooting 16, hanging out of a doors off heli is badass. And not only, you talked about how it's like, you're drained emotionally from filming out there. I feel like it's not necessarily just from yourself hanging out of the helicopter because a lot of the guys are getting dropped off on the most dangerous terrain in the world, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm just going to say it right now, Alaska ruins snowboarding for you for life because once you go up there and experience it, you're going to take in the runs that you cannot get anywhere else on the planet. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. It is the craziest snowboarding ever. And then when you throw guys like Giggy or Blair Hobenicht or Nicholas and Austin Smith and Curtis and those guys that are like super pro at it, it's just like, dude, that is so gnarly. You can, even if it's just turning down a mountain, like when I was a kid, like I think you've said this many times, but you skip through those video parts because they're so boring. But like, honestly, that is the top of the top level. It is like absolutely psychotic. It's so steep, so much steeper than you think. Everything's so much bigger than you think. It is so dangerous. It is like even being a filmer up there or photographer. Yo, man, every day is being at war. It's really, really like that. And I think that's like part of backcountry filming, or even maybe street filming too. But it's just dangerous, dude. My job is super dangerous, and I think we get paid a little bit more because of that. Because of there's so many situations that I've been in where it's just like, oh, we crashed the truck on the way to the sled spot, or I think my Salem days of being an off-roader or like going 4-bying on the weekends, like rednecks, learned how to like do a lot of stuff I do now, which is like recovering vehicles, hellying out a snowmobile, fixing snowmobiles, dealing with just like broken people, broken parts, broken trucks, all that kind of stuff, man. It's like, it's a really hard job. It's very physical and very dangerous.
Well, cool. I think we've been chatting for a while. And I don't know if you're allowed to talk about this current secret Vans project. Can we get into that?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you are filming the most elusive human in snowboarding that nobody can get enough of. Everybody wants more of. Mr. Jamie Lynn, correct?
Yeah, definitely, Jamie.
How's that process been?
Oh my God, man, Jamie is the best. Yeah, he's absolutely a psychopath. Best dude ever. Everyone would say that. Everyone I've been around that I'm like, yeah, man, I'm doing this like Jamie project, and he's just the best dude ever. If you ever get a chance to meet him or see him somewhere, he just lives like life like no one else I've ever met. What a legend, and I'm just like, for me, it's just absolutely psycho that I'm the guy that's making this movie about him right now, and it's been the hardest thing that I've ever had to do, but it's also gives me the opportunity to kind of step back a little bit and really makes a video that no one's ever seen before. I'm like kind of going into it with the mindset of want to like reinvent a way that a movie is made. And with someone like Jamie, it's kind of like his life is like no one else I've ever met. So the movie should be like that too. And I want it to have like really high Jamie Lynn vibes. And the thing with Jamie is he's, not only an incredible snowboarder legend, he's like celeb everywhere you go, artist, musician, skateboarder, motorcycle rider. Just there's so many parts to his life that I'm trying to capture, and it's definitely turned into being the hardest thing because he is so hard to be around. Like to get to where he is, literally, there's no pre-production, there's no nothing. When Vans was like, yeah, you're gonna make this Jamie Lynn movie, I would like text Jamie and wouldn't hear anything for months. And I'm like, fuck, man, I guess, I don't know, that's what it is. And then he'll just send me a text, Denver, 12:30, address. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to Denver. Jump on a flight, land in Denver. There's Jamie. He's there like rolling a joint, painting. And he's like, all right, you're hanging. We're doing this. This was like day one for filming for the movie. And he's like, why do you have your camera? I'm like, well, dude, we're making this video for Vans. It's like this movie. It's going to be pretty cool, man. It's like about you. He's like, nah, let's just hang out. And we need to get to know each other. And I was like, okay, well, let's get to know each other. But I'm bringing my camera with me.
One thing that was a highlight that you were talking about was how chill the process is.
Oh my God, yeah, it's like
difficult
we're not.
to
Well,
an extent.
I mean, it's difficult because he's a unicorn, man. It's he will not listen to anybody. He does his life, and he does it in the sickest way possible. He's always in the best place, always doing the best shit. I mean, we're pretty much living at Baldface all last year with Jeff Pensiero and his family, and
Give those guys an air horn.
big time, man. Jeff is like, I just want to call him Dad all the time. I'm like, Dad, thanks for taking care of me. He's like showing me the best time ever. It's like a dream come true to be on Jamie's program, and I haven't seen him for a while, right as of right now, due to COVID and all that stuff. So it's like I really miss the vibes and miss hanging out with him. We're not filming a normal snowboard video, so it's a little bit tough for me because I'm like, oh, we could be getting this trick right now, or like getting the A+ shots. But it's not about that for this project. It's more about him being him, me being voyeuristic in a way of like filming what he's doing with no influence. I want it to be him. And the idea for me is like, I want this movie to be, it's going to be an art project. It's not going to be a snowboard video that we can even premiere, probably. It's something that like, I want to make it really hard to see. Like I don't want it to be like, you can just go on YouTube and watch it. I want it to be something you have to go to a specific place to watch it.
Wow.
I want it to be, I don't want it to be easy to see.
The artiste. So you were telling me some funny stories last night that he only sleeps in a hammock.
Yeah, man.
Or
yeah,
he prefers
he
when
prefers,
he can. He
yeah,
sleeps
Jamie
in a hammock.
prefers to sleep in a hammock. It's actually so incredible. We get put up in like really fancy resort hotels and things like that, and we're usually sharing a room, and he's usually not down for that. So he'll just go set his hammock up in the boiler room downstairs with rats all around him and do his thing. And while we have like really nice room, I get it to myself. So I'm like, all right, dude, you go do your thing. When we were in Alaska filming for the project, Jamie slept in the snowbank every single night for a month. And, I had I rented the nicest RV you could kind of get, cause I knew we were going to be up there for a month and we just needed something comforting. Jamie never came in there once, basically. He was outside the whole time. He lives life outside, whether it be like surfing, skating, motorcycling. He's like the true road dog, man. He's gnarly.
Yeah, your buddy last night was saying he would sleep in a tree at his house, like 35 feet up.
Yeah.
Climb up and down every morning, every
definitely
night.
loves his hammock. Loves it.
Also, Parker Zumowski, young East Coast, rider for Vans. You kind of threw him in the mix with Jamie. That
Oh my
must have been
God.
fucking wild.
It was wild. Like we were just like we were shooting for the project, and it was really tough. Jamie really wanted to ride with Brian Iguchi. That's like always his Alaska partner, and just for safety reasons, you want to ride with the people you've been up there with before. We're all on the same page. But Brian had other obligations. He couldn't make it. We tried, the rest of the Vans roster, and nobody could make it. So I was like, man, it's like kind of cracking my mind. Like, who can I get to come up here? And I was like, I hung out with like Parker at like Wasted in Portland or something the summer before. And I was like, well, he was a cool kid. At least he can like come up and like hang out and it'll be fun. But we had the empty seat in the helicopter for a few days, and I was like, there's no better way for someone to get the experience than to just come up, hang out, ride with Jamie. He's not going to be doing like what Travis Rice is doing or anybody like that. We're just taking pretty mellow runs, warm-ups, just kind of feel it out. And he pretty much came up for one day of riding, but then stayed for a month and got probably, 12, 13 insane Alaska days. And the craziest thing is like after some of those days, like I was sitting there. I'm always with the guide from Alaska Snowboard Guides, and his name is DC. And DC looks over at me after Parker does his run, and he's just like, dude, where did you find this kid? Like, I've never seen anyone ride Alaska like that first trip. He is absolutely amazing. And Parker just blew the doors off of all of us. Like, we could not believe it. I thought he just like hit rails, dude.
No, I've never even seen him. I've never ridden
thought that
POW.
too.
I didn't even know he could turn.
Yeah.
And then here he is dropping with Jamie Lynn, him and Jamie up on the sketchiest things ever, and just destroying.
And a lot of people go up there and they
they don't get
realize
anything.
that I'm over my head maybe, and
Big
they don't
time.
really do anything.
No, Parker, I think he just like slammed a beer and ate some mushrooms and is like, all right, let's do it. But if you're hanging with Jamie and our crew, that's kind of how
Time
the way
to
it
do
goes,
this,
man. Yeah.
Incredible.
Love
But
it.
what a special human. And dude, I hope that we still have another year to film on this project, and I hope we get the opportunity to go back up there and just be part of the lot brigade and hang out and make micheladas for the crew and jump in the bird and rip some laps and send off this movie in fourth quarter and make it as amazing as it needs to be for something with Vans and Jamie Lynn.
Well, I know you're going to knock it out of the park, and I know that everybody listening to this will be waiting patiently or impatiently for it to come out.
Yeah, I mean, the sad thing is it would be out right now, but COVID really put a damper in it. We missed our window this year to go to Alaska, and that's where we wanted to finish it up. So,
okay, I think we did the damn thing.
We did it.
We got an exclusive first ever interview with Jake.
That's true.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, there's one thing I wanted to say. Is Jeff Goldblum still around?
I think he's frozen.
Is he?
He'll probably thaw.
You guys
out.
froze him?
Yeah.
We'll
thaw him out in the spring.
What everybody told me to go on the bomb hole because I get to meet Jeff Goldblum. What's up with that? I'm getting shafted right now, guys.
Yeah, we gotta maybe.
I think flies do though. They fall over and freeze for the winter. Because then you notice,
no, snowboard filmers do.
Yeah, whenever it gets warm, all of a sudden they're moving around again, and you got flies in your house.
We had
big
people
ones.
sending buds fly strips.
Yes,
we had fans sending fly strips.
So good.
So, all right, before we get out of here, if you guys are interested in Jake's work, just to rifle off a few, We got, Robot Food. We got 9191, Mr. Plant, December, Mountain Lab 1.5, 91 Words for Snow, and IR77, his first kind of debut film.
In short.
Oh, in short as well.
Gap Session.
Yep. Keep going.
Wow.
Volcom TV shows. We got, there's so many, dude.
If you haven't watched 9191, make sure you fucking watch that because that one's the one.
That's kind of the one.
Yeah.
Also December. Watch December. Laugh your ass off. It just gives you a good vibe. Go snowboarding with your friends. Have fun.
November.
And they'll all be in the show notes, whether you're watching on YouTube, if you click down and click the description, or if you're listening to it on Apple Podcasts, it'll be in the show notes. And if you're watching them, be sure to fucking hit the subscribe. You know what I mean? Send it to a friend. And I think we did the damn thing. We're gonna get out of here.
Thing is done.
We appreciate you guys listening, watching. We will see you next week. Over and out from the bomb hole.